it's Alice and welcome to another vlog. So I have a couple of days off work, which is great, and my plan is to honestly not do much, but I want to do some reading, and I have some spooky books that I really want to get to because it's October and I feel like I need to read these books when it's October, so I figured I would take you along with me. I'm also gonna do some cooking and maybe some baking and some organizing, and I have some stuff to show you because I just picked up a package at the post office, and we're just gonna, you know, hang out and read and do some other stuff. I have 3 books that I really want to read when it's still October because they feel like very October appropriate books for me, so I'm gonna try to read these 3 while we're still in this month. It might not be for this vlog. I don't think I'll be able to read all 3. I'm always very optimistic about how much I'll be able to read when I'm vlogging, but I don't think I'll be able to get to all 3, but I'm gonna try to read as much as possible. Now, one of my favorite things in spooky books are haunted houses. I've realized that I really enjoy creepy houses, books set in creepy or weird houses. I just feel like they're often very atmospheric. So 2 of the books I have are actually about haunted houses, which, you know, is perfect for me, obviously. So we've got The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This is a modern classic that I've heard amazing things about, and it's just one of those spooky books that I feel like a lot of people talk about, and apparently it's really good. But I haven't read it yet, and I don't actually know what this is about because I think I haven't seen the show, the adaptation of this, but apparently the story in that is a little bit different from the story in the book. I thought this was about a group of siblings, but apparently that's just the show and not the book. It says on the back here that alone in the world, Eleanor is delighted to take up Dr. Montague's, I'm probably not saying that right, but whatever. Dr. Montague's invitation to spend a summer in the mysterious Hill House. Joining them are Theodora, an artistic sensitive, whatever that means, and Luke, heir to the house, but what begins as a light-hearted experiment swiftly turns out to be a trip into their darkest nightmares, which sounds very creepy. And there's an investigation. And it says that this is acclaimed to be one of the finest ghost stories in the 20th century, which is, you know, pretty amazing. I'm really looking forward to reading this, but to be honest, I don't have super high expectations for this because I feel like whenever I read classic ghost stories or classic horror, it's never as creepy and as scary as I think it's gonna be. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just because things are scarier now, or I've been exposed to a lot of modern horror stories and they're a lot worse. I don't know what it is, but I'm not expecting this to really scare me, but I am expecting it to be really atmospheric, and I'm very intrigued about this house and the people who are gonna go there, and a ghost story is always fun for October. The second haunted house book though, I do have kind of high expectations for, and I'm expecting it to creep me out a little bit and scare me a little bit. It's The Haunting of Ashburn House. I don't know why I think this is gonna scare me, but I think this was recommended to me in a comment, and that's why I got it. And they made it sound like it's not the worst thing, but it's pretty pretty scary. I don't really know. The story in here is about Ashburn House, and in the community where this house is, there are rumors that the old owner went mad and the place is restless with ghosts. And then there's this woman who inherits the mansion, and she is desperate and she needs a place to stay, so she moves in despite all of this, and I'm assuming the house is really scary. The third book I have is an Agatha Christie novel. This is Halloween Party, and obviously it's very appropriate for spooky season. I think this is gonna be my backup book, if I somehow manage to finish both of these within 2 days, or however long this vlog is gonna last. I'll pick this one up. If not, I'll just save it for the last weekend of October when it's actually Halloween. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start with one of these. I think I might actually go with this one first because it's just the shorter one of the 2, and I am very intrigued, and I feel like if I read this one first and it's really terrifying, this is gonna feel a lot less terrifying than maybe it actually is because you know, when you read two books back to back, you sort of compare them automatically. So I'm gonna start with this one because I think this is gonna be the least creepy, and then I'm gonna move on to this, which I really do think is gonna like freak me out a little bit. Now, before I get to reading though, I have some stuff that I want to do today, and I just want to like do it now. I think I want to show you a package that I got. I ordered some hot chocolate because it's my favorite thing, so I'm gonna show you what I got, and then I am gonna organize my spices, which I'm sure is gonna be riveting content. But I got these like jars, and I just want to organize my spice cupboard because it's a mess and it's very disorganized, and I just think it's gonna look a lot better. And I'm gonna do that, and then I'm also gonna start dinner actually. Even though it's the middle of the day, I want to make like a meat and potato stew type thing, and it's one of those things that needs to like simmer for 3 hours, like it takes ages to make. But it's really good and very like hearty and feels like the perfect food for this season, you know? So I'm gonna do that, all of that, and then I think I'm gonna get to reading. But yeah, let me show you all of the lovely hot chocolate that I got. So I've just taken all of this out of the package, but as you can see, I clearly have no self-control because this is a lot. But all of this stuff is from Withered, and if you've been around for a while, you will know that I absolutely love hot chocolate and I drink it all the time. So I just made this order and I got a bunch of stuff. And yeah, I'm just gonna show you. First, I thought I would show you what I actually got for free because they had like a code thing that gave you like a Halloween package for free, which was really cool. And the first is actually this tea. So I've never tried this before, but I can tell you that this packaging is doing a lot for me. Like, it looks absolutely fantastic. This is actually black tea, and as I'm sure you can see, it's spiced pumpkin chai. I don't really know what that is, but it sounds delicious. I've never really tried a lot of pumpkin spiced or like pumpkin flavored stuff, so I'm excited to try this because I do also really like tea. There's just something about like packaging that has like foil on it that just does so much for me. It's so good looking. But yeah, I got that, and then I also got this, which is it's peanut butter hot chocolate. I have tried this before. I had like a little box of it that I think got last year, but I drank it all, so now I have this again. It's really good. It's also actually really good for making like any sort of muffins or like baking. You can put this in and it has like a peanut butter flavor. I also got like all of these 3 things were in like the discount code thing, so you got for free. They also sent this chocolate chip and orange biscuits, and these I'm very excited about. I love anything with like chocolate and orange together, so I'm really excited to try these. I have had biscuits from Withered before and I really like them. You can also see like 2 tins here that are also biscuits, so this is like a hot chocolate and biscuit haul. Now onto the stuff that I actually picked up myself. The first thing I got is this like just regular hot chocolate. This is one of my favorites. It's really good basic hot chocolate. And then I also got this, which is called Raspberry Ripple. This is actually white hot chocolate with like a raspberry flavor, which maybe doesn't sound that good, but it's actually delicious and like surprisingly refreshing in some sort of odd way. I also got this, which I actually haven't tried before, but this is like instant tea and it's mulled wine, and I just thought it sounded good. I had some like instant tea that my friend made me a couple of weeks ago and it was really, really good. It wasn't this brand, it was something else, but it was similar and it was great. So bought this and I'm gonna try it out, and if I don't like it, I will like bring it to work and give it to someone else, I guess. And then we're quickly gonna go through some Christmas stuff that I got. It's still October, so I don't want to go into it too much because we can't talk about it too much until it's November, but I got this Christmas hot chocolate. This has like cinnamon, nutmeg, and spiced plum, which I thought sounded really good. And it comes in this like really beautiful tin, which I'm sure I'm gonna keep, even though I don't really need it. And then I got some biscuits. I got 2 of these, and to be honest, when I ordered this, I didn't realize what a big tin it was. Like, I thought the tins were a lot smaller, so I have like biscuits for days. But I got these salted caramel all butter biscuits that I'm pretty sure I've had before and I really liked. And then I got these, which are like Christmas biscuits, which I'm gonna save for December, obviously. But yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of biscuits for the coming weeks. And I also, got these biscuits. So there's a lot of biscuits, but I really like them. So I'm sure I'm gonna be able to eat them very, very quickly. And also, these tins are also really cool. I'm sure I'm gonna keep these as well, even though I don't know what I'm gonna use them for. But, can't throw these kinds of things away for some reason. Moving away from all of the hot chocolate though, I am gonna sit down and organize my spice cupboard because I am an adult that leads a very, very exciting life. I got all of these like glass container things that I'm gonna put my spices in, and one of the reasons that I got these is that you can stack them on top of each other, which is perfect for my like spice cupboard. My spice cupboard is a mess. I'll show you in a little bit, but it's like a complete mess. And I think this will make it look neater and be easier to like navigate. So I also got these like label things with all of these different spices. I ordered these on Etsy because Etsy has everything. And when you put it all together, it looks like this, which I just think looks really nice if the camera can focus, which it can't, apparently. There we go. So it looks like this when it's all put together, and I just think it looks really good, and I think it's going to be easier for me to find the spices that I need. So I'm going to sit down and do this. It'll probably take me like 2 hours or something, but I'm just going to do it because when it's done, it's going to be great. The process might not be super fun, but I'm going to put on a podcast and it'll be fine. So this is what my spice cupboard looks like now. It's kind of unorganized. I do know where things are, but there are like several containers of the same spice all scattered throughout here. So I think putting it all in the same thing is going to be a lot better for me so I can see what I have. And there are things like stacked on top of each other here, and it's kind of a mess. So I think this new system is going to look a lot better, and it's going to be better for me when I'm cooking. So I'm gonna get on this and, put on a true crime podcast and hear about some murders and some gruesome stuff and have a good time organizing this nonsense. I'm sure the after of this is gonna be like really satisfying. I mean, you can't tell me that this doesn't look better than it did before. This actually didn't take me that long. It was quite a quick process, and I got to like throw away some old stuff that had been there for years, and now it looks a lot better. And there are like several rows of these, but I've just put them like this. Like, these are the spices that I use the most, and then on the second row are the ones that I use more than the ones in the back, if that makes sense. And it's also easier to see if I'm like running low on things, which is great. Really happy with this. I feel like it looks great and it's gonna serve me very well. Now that that is done though, and I'm really happy with it, I'm so glad that I did that. I've been thinking about it for like, not even months, it's been like years that I wanted to like do something with that. And I feel like it looks good and it's gonna work really well. Super happy with that. I am gonna start making some food because, like I mentioned, the like stew that I'm making needs to like simmer for a while, so I might as well just get that going. And yeah, I'm gonna start that and continue listening to a podcast. I'm actually listening to a new podcast that I'm really enjoying that's called And That's Why We Drink. A lot of you might know that one of my favorite podcasts is Morbid, and I started listening to that like 4 or 5 months ago or something, and I listened through their entire back catalog, which is a lot, but I listened through all of their episodes and I ran out of them, and I was like, I don't know what to listen to now. It's kind of the same feeling you get when you finish a really good book and you get like a hangover, like a book hangover. I got a podcast hangover and I didn't know what to listen to or what I wanted to listen to, but I think they mentioned this podcast in a Morbid episode, and so I was like, I'll give it a go, and I'm loving it. It's very much in the same vein as Morbid and My Favorite Murder, and it's just two women who are friends who tell each other stories, and one focuses on like true crime and the other focuses on like paranormal stories, which is really fun. I'm actually surprised by how much I'm enjoying the paranormal part of that podcast, because usually I'm not like super into ghost stories, and I don't think I really believe in any of it, but when I'm listening to this podcast, I get like really sucked into it, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened. And it's really, really fun. Like, there are haunted houses and like possessions and demons and all of that, and it's very, very engaging to listen to. Super like entertaining, but it's also like a comedy slash true crime slash paranormal podcast, so it's like relatively light, and I prefer like true crime and like stories like that in a slightly lighter form, I guess, which is why I like this one, Morbid, and My Favorite Murder. So I'm gonna keep listening to that. I didn't even make it through one episode, Organizing These Spices, so I'm gonna listen to the rest of it, get this cooking going, and then maybe I'll actually get around to reading something after that. Alright, so it's been a few hours and we're nearing the evening. The sun is like setting and it's about to get dark outside, and I haven't really been doing much the past couple of hours. I listened to some more podcasts, I had a phone call which took a while, and I did also start this, although I didn't make a whole lot of progress on it, but I have at least started it. I don't really have a lot of thoughts on this so far, but when I started this, I realized that I thought this was my first book by Shirley Jackson, and it's not. It's my second book, I think. I've read We Have Always Lived in the Castle as well. I just forgot that she's the one who wrote that. And I think maybe the reason that I don't think I'll be like super creeped out by this book is that I had really high expectations for We Have Always Lived in the Castle. And I wasn't disappointed, but it wasn't as creepy as I thought it was going to be. And so I think maybe that's the reason I don't think this is gonna like creep me out that much. I like Shirley Jackson's writing style, I think. Sometimes I feel like it meanders a little bit and it like focuses, like there are long paragraphs about things that don't feel super important all the time, and I have read like 30 pages in this and there's already been one of those parts. And I don't love that, and I think maybe that's the reason it doesn't feel super creepy. But I am intrigued by this, and I'm very much looking forward to getting to this house and seeing what's going on. So far though, what's happened in here is that we have met, I think, the characters that we're gonna follow in this book, although we've just been briefly introduced to most of them. We've met the doctor who has sort of hired some assistants to like join him in this house for the summer for like a couple of months, and he just wants to find out if there's anything paranormal or supernatural going on in the house. So there's two women who are joining him, and they seem to be sort of polar opposites. Like, one has spent a long time caring for her mother, who has now died, and she doesn't really like the rest of her family, so she just like accepts this invitation because she just wants to get out of there. And then I think there's another woman who we haven't really read a lot about, who is very like bright and colorful, which is not the impression I've gotten of the other girl. And then I also think we're going to be joined by someone like the nephew of whoever owns the house. Like, for some reason he's going to be there too, and he seems to be a little bit of a shady character. My plans for the rest of the evening though is to just like continue reading this. It's not that long, it's like 240 pages, so it shouldn't take me too long to read, but I'm also gonna eat my dinner that I'm very much looking forward to. It looks really good and my apartment smells so good, so hopefully that will be done soon. So I'm gonna eat that and maybe watch like a movie or a series or find something to watch while I'm eating, and then when I've done that I'm just gonna continue reading this, and hopefully I will make a bit of a dent into this. I feel like I'm really looking forward to like getting to the house and it getting like dark outside, and hopefully it will be the kind of story that like really pulls me in, and I hope there are going to be some ghosts because I think that would be pretty cool. Good morning, everyone. It is now morning, obviously, and you know, it's a new day. I've got some hot chocolate and it's time to get the day started, I guess. I'm just drinking like a regular hot chocolate today and it's really good, and I gotta tell you, I got the most amazing thing. And you know you've grown old when you get excited about things like these, but I bought a milk foamer a little while ago and it is my favorite thing. Like, I think you're supposed to use them to make coffee, but I use them to make hot chocolate, and they like foam the milk. Obviously, I'm sure you all know what this is, but I've started using it to make hot chocolate and it is the best thing. Like, the milk gets all like fluffy, and if you use a kind of milk that's made for like these kinds of drinks, it's the best thing. It also heats the milk to the perfect temperature for me, so this thing is amazing and I love it. But enough about that. I thought I would do a little update. I keep holding this book up the wrong way. It's supposed to be this way, but I actually finished this last night. So I feel very much like I thought I would about this. Like, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I feel a lot of the same things that I felt when I'd finished We Have Always Lived in the Castle. It wasn't as like spooky and creepy as I thought it was going to be, but I did love the like house part of it. Like, all of that was fantastic. I really felt like I could picture the house, and it really is a very like spooky house. It's like super weird and dark, and there are some scenes like with ghosts maybe. It's sort of it's kind of like a cryptic book in a lot of ways, which is what I feel about a lot of like older gothic or like spooky books, is that they don't tell you outright what's happening. It's kind of like vague, and you can, I guess you can interpret it the way that you want. Like, maybe all of this is happening, maybe it's not. It's definitely an unsettling story, and I did finish it quite quickly. Like, I stayed up in bed and I read this because I wanted to finish it. So I guess that is good. And I do like the writing, and I like sort of how it's all built up, but I felt a little bit towards the end that things got a little bit confusing, and I can't tell if it's just me or if it's the book, but I don't know. Towards the end, things got kind of vague, and I don't always love that in books. Like, I just want to know what's going on. I don't want to have to like think about it too much. Like, just tell me, are there ghosts or are these people crazy? I think I'm gonna have to let this simmer a little bit. Like, I don't quite know how I feel about it, but usually getting some space away from it helps me. So by the time I need to review this, I'm sure I'll have made up my mind somewhat, but I did really enjoy it. And now I'm gonna move on to the next haunted house book. Before I start that book though, I realized last night that I need to film a couple of videos today that I had low-key kind of forgotten about. So I need to do that today, and it's gonna take a pretty big chunk out of my day, but it's okay. It's good to just have it done, and I'm not gonna have time to do it this week, so I just need to do it today. So I need to do that, and it's gonna take me a little while. And then I'm also baking, I haven't decided what I'm gonna bake it. I think it's gonna be like cinnamon rolls or like vanilla rolls, something like, I don't know, something like that. I've like made the dough and it's rising, and I'm just gonna leave it until I have time to like make all of that. So I'm gonna do that, and then hopefully I will get some reading done. So the day got away from me a little bit and it's now like late afternoon, early evening, and I feel like we should maybe wrap this up now. I did manage to film a couple of videos, which always takes me longer than I think it's going to, and I did make cinnamon buns, which were delicious. I also managed to start this. I didn't get very far, but maybe we should do some first impressions before I go. So the first like few pages of this were very intriguing. It was like a scene where a woman is like running out of a house with her child, and they're like running to the car and speeding off, and it's like in the middle of a thunderstorm, and we see this from the perspective of the kid, who is like really, she doesn't understand what's going on, but when you read what she sees, it makes it like really creepy. And that was only a couple of pages, and then we sort of moved to, I think, like almost 20 years later, and this woman, the child who is now a woman, returns to this house because she has inherited it. She's got a cat with her, which I'm already in love with. Like, I think the cat is gonna be a great character, and she's just like settling in this house. She doesn't have anywhere else to live. So she's decided to go to this house even though she didn't know the relative who left her the house. She thought that her entire family had like passed away, or there was no family. And she's lost her mother to some sort of disease, and she doesn't have any money. So she decides to move into this house because she doesn't really have a choice. Already, and I'm not very far into this, there is definitely something off about this house, and there are like writing on the wall and like in the kitchen like counter, and there's just like something weird about it. And I realized that the idea of having a cat in a haunted house is actually really, really good, because cats or like animals will notice things that other people don't, and so when you see the cat react to something, you're just like, oh my god, what is it? I'm really intrigued so far though, so I'm gonna keep reading this evening. I do need to do some editing as well, and I also wanna continue my crochet project, which I guess I can show you because it's right here. This is probably not gonna be very interesting to most of you, but I'm making a blanket in this orange color because it's fall and I wanted to have like a fall blanket, and I'm making this in like a, I guess this looks like it's braided. I've never done this before. I learned on YouTube because YouTube has everything, and I think it looks really good. My idea was to like make this for fall, and it's now fall, and I'm not even like a third of the way through, so I'm not gonna be able to finish this for fall, but I felt like the orange color was really nice for like Halloween, so I'm gonna continue this, and you know, next year I'll have this for autumn. Anyways, I think that was kind of it for this vlog. I am gonna go eat some more cinnamon buns now because they're really good when they're still warm, so I'm gonna eat some more of those. And I had sort of thought that I was gonna bring some of these into work tomorrow. Might not do that in the end because I might eat them all, but we'll see. I'm gonna eat some of those, and I'm gonna continue this and eat some leftovers from yesterday. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Thanks for hanging out with me as usual. I would love to know what you're currently reading, if you're reading any spooky books, and what your favorite like haunted house story is. I would love to hear about that because I'm always looking for more like haunted houses in books. So let me know all of that, and I will see you soon. Bye!